Greetings and welcome everyone. It'll be a few minutes before I get everything set up. Alright, I'm just making sure everything is hunky-dory on my end. It sounded like I didn't have any microphone feedback here, so I'm just double checking. Alright, that should be a lot better. At least for me. Anyways, greetings and welcome everyone. Yesterday we were on the Druid, and as a non-Druid player or a non-healing class player, I found it rather enjoyable. So let me go ahead and get myself on the screen. Hi and welcome. We're showcasing Monsters and Memories today. It is a classically inspired MMORPG based off of old school titans like EverQuest, heavily inspired by EverQuest. In fact, one of the devs, I think it was is a original developer of the game. If you're just seeing the channel for the first time, my name is Salty EQ Vet, or the Salty EQ Vet, depending on where you're from or what platform you're on. I'm a longtime MMO player and a retired combat vet. So you might be hearing some war stories from me, but mostly I am just covering Monsters and Memories, a game that I played when I was a teenager. And so I've been following the development team, and I know I say this like most of my streams, about 4 or 5 years now, or no, 3 or 4 years. They've been developing the game for about 4 or 5. Alright, Toddy Bear! Hey, pal! Welcome back. Good to see you. How's life? We're back doing Druid gameplay. Toddy Bear says, hanging in there. Well, we all are. Doing some analytical work and hanging out with some folks. Oh, you, are you in IT? Because I am transitioning out of IT. I'm changing my vocation into philosophy. Oh, okay. Alright. National sales manager. My best friend is like in sales. I can never do it. It's just, I don't know, it's just not me. I got a couple friends like that, and they're all in sales. All of them are. Two of my good friends, well, one of them is my best friend, the other one's a good friend. They're both working together now in the same company. One lives in Texas, the other one lives around here. So when my best friend comes in town, they're both in my living room talking about work and doing spreadsheets. And I'm just like, okay, cool. But it's high. Toddy Bear says it's high stress, so you balance the good with the bad. Of course you do. You gotta take the crookeds along with the straights, as they say. Baseball term. But yeah, I was surprisingly enjoying the Druid. And again, like, this is the first time I've ever played like a Druid class in any MMO. But what I wanted to do is, you know, obviously just test it out and see what people are. That's very nice. See what people are talking about with this Druid. Now, there's like some, I guess some negative feedback about it, but I'm not really seeing it. Druid and Shaman are what I'm most interested in. Excited to hear you're taking your progress. Yeah, I mean, you know, like, if we're gonna be in beta test, then we should be testing the game. And so, you know what, like, I don't want to just play a class that I want to play. I want to play a class that, you know, I may not want to play. So I just have a bit more knowledge about the game. Because typically, I'm not a healer. And I think it's because I've been in too many like PvP MMOs, where if you're the healer and you screw up, like, it's just people dogpile on you, and that's something I really don't like. Last one was Albion Online, and I was like healing. I was just trying out healing, just for the sake of it. And I was playing with one of the developers of Foxhole. I don't know if you ever heard about that game, but it's kind of like PlanetSide, it's just isometric. And I will never do that again. And I also stopped really playing Foxhole because of that interaction with that one developer. This was a few years ago. I'm not really sure when. But I mean, like, that just sucks. Like, you like the game and you're like talking to a developer and you're just generally like getting involved in the nitty gritty of the game you both like, the one that he worked on, but you're playing a different game, and then he just kind of is super shitty to you, and it's like, okay, yeah, I don't even want to be around this. I don't even want to be around your game, dude. So right now we're just leveling, or at least trying to level. And once I get talking, I kind of get distracted, and I'm like, I forget what I'm doing. But the damage isn't bad. I mean, there's obviously going to be classes better. I was playing my Spellblade last night for a little bit. And I was going through the phases, or also testing out the Druid last night as well, with the seasonal changes. Understand a little bit better now. So I think in... Okay, your damage spells... Okay, so in autumn it's the exact opposite. Your healing spells and your mana regeneration, or the mana regeneration is the same, but it's the exact opposite of spring. So you gotta do more healing to stay in autumn, and then in spring you gotta do more damage to stay in spring. But yeah, I mean, the seasonal changes is actually fun. Oh, that was a bad idea. It was a really bad idea. We'll see if we can handle it. We'll see. I do have Sal. But that mana regen in like spring and autumn is really, really helpful. I didn't see too much of a damage difference when I was in winter. I think both these guys are blue cons. I'm worried about this yellow con coming in for me. You know, we have a chance to do Touch of Nature. Let's go ahead and pop that off. If I bring him that way, I'm gonna bring him towards the guard. I don't want to do that. Okay, I also don't want to run into more Black Widows. Which I did. Let's reapply our dot. Get some distance. We don't even have a rested buff. No, why don't we do this? Is there a guard there? Alright. No, I don't think so. Just near that guy. There's a guard right here, so I don't want to do that. Shit, I might have to. I don't want to deal with the train. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna reset the encounter, fortunately. Alright, that was a fun exercise. Yeah, I tried the wizard. Didn't like it. I think that's a broad consensus of what people are saying about it. So it wasn't just me. It doesn't feel good to play. Druid, however, feels fantastic to play. And again, that mechanic of the seasons and the phase changing is very unique. Now with the Shaman is the other like healer class other than Cleric I'm willing to play. They're going to go through a revamp soup, and I hope they deal with them next. Because they kind of share like an overlap with the Druid. And so what they're going to do is they're going to go with a retheming of their spells. Maybe not their utilities, but it's going to be a bit more like spiritual in nature. So I'm excited to see that. They also get a Spirit Wolf. I want that. It's at level 32 though, so I gotta stick with Shaman for a bit. I mean, who doesn't want a Spirit Dog? Well, you know what? Let me go ahead and turn up the gamma. It's been a weird morning. I woke up late. I meant to do this at 10. And I was like, all right, I'm not even gonna be able to get on here until 11:30. So apologies if I'm all over the place. But I am here talking to you guys, and I can calm down and relax for a bit. I mean, it's a little odd, I will say, for like streaming. Like, you always have someone kind of like looking over your shoulder. Or at least that's what it feels like to me. We are at a full rested buff. Then go back out and do the grind. I cannot wait for level 8 on the Druid, because it seems like we get a buttload of spells. More spells than I'm willing to... I'll have to read through all of them. I think there is a comfort power dynamic where you can control the social situation while streaming. Yeah, so like, again, like I'm a veteran, combat veteran, like I have PTSD, so like I kind of like have fear of crowds. And so like this is like one of the few ways I can actually interact with the public in like a constructive and like easy manner, because like if I go outside the house, I'm just like, I wouldn't say jaded, but like I'm a bit prickly to like people I don't know. Like I'm always like, okay, is this dude gonna stab me? Like, I have that. And to be fair, like I was in the combat. I was a combat infantryman in Iraq in 2006. So when I'm in streaming, like yeah, it's a lot easier to deal with, because like I'm kind of like in control and I can like direct the conversation. I won't lie in years. And travel for requirement. Yeah, man, I took a look at your page, and it's like you have what, 900 followers or something like that. You should definitely get back on it, man. I mean, I do this for fun, and it's really just a hobby of mine. So I mean, I totally get it. You gotta do worker requirements before, but I mean, I do find this very therapeutic, and it's helping me work on my public speaking. Because again, I'm changing my vocation into philosophy, education, so I will be expected to be giving a lecture in front of like a group of 40 people or more. I guess it's that fear factor. mean, I feel pretty robust playing the druid. Like, I don't feel like I'm a tin can, right? Like, I don't feel like I'm just gonna fold. Oh, let me go ahead and answer this text. Alright, I'll do that in a minute. Got monsters' memories to play. And my lovely wife joins us in channel. I hope work is going good for you. It's always nice that your spouse gets to support you in your hobbies. Like every stream she's like showing up and going, woo! And I'm like, okay, babe, like, thank you. So yeah, I got like a cheerleader. I mean, it's nice. Am I out of mana? No, out of mana. I will say I like Phelan Drill a lot better than I do Night Harbor. At least right now. I mean, Night Harbor I like. I mean, it's definitely iconic. And you can start a druid there too, but I mean, there's a lot of perks being over here. Less competition, more money. Variety of environment. You're not looking at sand dunes all day. The reason why I like Night Harbor, man, it's Freeport. That's what it is. I hope they add Kinos. Toddy Bear says my wife and I started dating when I was you were 12, going on 22 years strong. That is wow. It's a long time. Not many people marry their childhood sweetheart. I mean, so that's really amazing. When you know, you know. And very much like me and my wife, although we've only been like together for 3 years. Take another text here. should really open up with burning embers. I don't know why I don't do that. Everybody says there was a breakup when we went to college, but we were back together within a year. Other than that, it's been yeah. That's amazing, pal. You are definitely lucky for that. Most people don't get that. Sorry, work. All right. Yeah, I mean, when you know, right? I don't think there's a camp here, so we're gonna take that skeleton. It says my wife's little brother was one of my best friends on the wrestling team in elementary school. We met the older sister in 6th grade. The rest is history. Huh? thank this guy. Where did this guy come from?
Oh.
Tiny Bear says, I coach now. My daughter starts wrestling this year. She's not a fan. My son loves it though. He has B5 to join the club though. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I was never a big sports guy. I'm not a big gun guy either, despite my like military background. But yeah, sports, I was never really like into like athletics or anything. So I mean, I can kind of relate. Although my parents forced me into soccer. I wanted to, the only sport that I really wanted to get into was football, and my mom wouldn't allow it. Tyber says, I enjoy playing sports, never understood watching them, still work out in an MMA gym, but don't compete. You know, my best friend, I think he's like, what is he? Is he a blue belt in jiu-jitsu? And so he's really big into MMA. Like he's gone to like competitions and everything. Still rolls around on the mat. It says, and a lot of my friends like basketball and never played it, so I have no idea what's going on. Wrestling team's always been during basketball season. Yeah, I wish I could help you out with that. I mean, I don't know what's going on in basketball. In most sports, I don't know what's going on. My druid is level 4, and we're halfway through it. I mean, it's an enjoyable enough experience where I'm not like, oh my god, when's the next level? In some classes, I get that, but not with druid. Druid seems to be very smooth as far as like just kind of like zoning out and relaxing. '12th level Jackal and Wolfworm seem to be interesting. Man, the two, like I've never, again, like I was just trying the Druid just to try the Druid. Like you said, like I'm more interested in the Shaman. I think the Shaman has like better buffs. I'm just waiting for them to get the class revamp. But the Druid's toolkit looks very interesting. Even from like a person that's like not really like into this class. Like the fantasy doesn't like appeal to me. Doesn't mean I won't try to understand it or try to like get involved in it. I mean, the gameplay itself it feels good. I mean, so they did for me and only me, and it feels good. So I can't tell you what it was like beforehand. I don't know what the issue is. Maybe it's the seasonal change. But just coming from like an outsider's perspective, it does feel fun enough to where, you know, I can shrug my shoulders and like move on. It's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, like for someone like playing the game for the first time might actually like Druid. And they are supposed to be like the solo kings, from what I understand. The other one being Necromancer. They're a very strong solo class. Yeah, the shaman, I guess the shaman fantasy kind of like reminds me like a Viking, so like I can kind of get into it. The buffs like haste are very, very potent. I don't know why I don't buff myself. I should. There we go. It is, I would say. I also really... It's like one of the second most played classes. I mean, it used to be the most played class during the prior playtests, at least last year, and then once Druid started getting its revamp, that's when the Druid became the most popular class to play right now. I can see why. It is enjoyable. Oh, you know what? I don't even have my rested buff anymore. I gotta go back. Go back and sell a few things. We'll pick up a lumberjack axe and maybe a pickaxe. Pickaxe, sickle, and lumberjack. Okay, that's what we'll do. So I think I have, yes, brittle sharpening stones, and if I right click on this I get 2+ strength if I just apply it to my weapon. It's huge. Right, that's gonna affect my auto attack damage. Especially for like a 14th straight character. I think I just like went all in on wisdom. I mean, I'm not noticing a huge like damage decline or anything like that. And what I'm guessing is that like the starting stats, they're a bit more just like flavor. So even if you don't think you have the correct stat distribution, I mean, your character's not going to be gimped, which is nice. Pretty sure I'm also going to try the Necromancer. Beastmaster as well, that's an interesting one. It feels like they took like the WoW Hunter and then they split it off into two separate classes. You got the Archer and then you got the Beastmaster. Dottie Bear says, Necro seems powerful from what I've seen, makes the Shadow Knight look strong. Yeah, so I was looking at the Shadow Knight last night, and maybe I didn't read this correctly, but I think they're gonna deviate from the regular, because like the Shadow Knight in like EverQuest, you would raise like a skeleton companion at like a certain level, and you would get that. I don't know how strong it would be, but it would kind of just be like a gimmick. At least is what I thought. And I didn't really play a Shadow Knight a whole lot. Because when I was in Freeport, when I was walking around in my Shadow Knight, people would just start attacking me, and I didn't really understand the alignment system then. But here, it looks like they're gonna deviate into like monster hunting or something like that, and I'm just like, I don't know if that's like, that really doesn't sit well with me. But I don't think they're gonna change the Necromancer too much. Shadow Knight, they are going to change, so I mean, we'll wait and see. To me, it seems like it's a bad idea. Toddy Bear says, I heard they are removing all the half classes, so Shadow Knight is getting a rework to be like a blue mage-y. Yeah, so the blue mage thing is, I don't know what that is. I'm gonna be honest with you. I keep hearing that, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what that's referencing, but might be something good. Where he takes abilities from mobs. I don't know how true that is, but people are talking about. Yeah, I don't know either, man. I wish I knew. I just really don't like that look, because like a Shadow Knight is kind of like an iconic class, and I don't want them to change that. I mean, like, I understand, like, they don't want overlap, but I think like the Shadow Knight and Necromancer should have like a lot of synergy between them and some overlap. I think that's okay. Of course, I'm just going over feels rather than reels, so the nostalgia effect is like really strong with that particular class, even though it's not my main. So I can understand some of the frustration with that. Final Fantasy class, blue mages learn to remove. Okay. Enemy moves, magic. So their whole toolkit is okay. They're stolen from mobs. Is it fun? I mean, I guess like if they are gonna change it, and they're not gonna like listen to me, right, or the community. The question whether or not is it gonna be fun, right? It's gotta at least meet that bar. Some blue mages, Final Fantasy. Yeah, I never really played Final Fantasy, but okay, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, it's a Monster Hunter motif, so he's getting a retheming. You might as well just like rename the class then to something else, like Monster Hunter. In my opinion, like if you're gonna like just completely like drop the Shadow Knight, right? And for this is supposed to be like a nostalgic game, which it is. Then why even bother with why if you're going to do an entire if you're going to do that to the class, then just rename it. That would be my question for the devs. Toddy Bear says it's incredible hard to balance. Every FF game in Final Fantasy is in limited class, meaning that it can't hit level cap, and is more of a side content and unserious option. Okay, that sounds like crap. Like, okay, I was hoping that you would like be like, yeah, it's totally awesome, but no, you're like, no, it's horrible. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I don't really have a whole lot of faith in the class then, in its future. I hope they don't change it then. Because if it was like super awesome, I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, let's at least try it, give it a shot. And now I'm just like, okay, I'm dreading the content change with the Shadow Knight, even though I don't even play it. I can be mad on the Shadow Knight main's behalf. Right now we're just getting arrested both. That bear says, yeah, it does not really work. With a normal class, you balance the limited selection of abilities. With Blue Mage, how do you balance every mob move in the game? Yeah, I mean, from a gameplay perspective, at least game development perspective, and trying to like figure out what's fun. I mean, I imagine you can't go through every single scenario. Some things might sound good on paper, but in practice, it just doesn't work out. And so people brought up the Blue Mage type of thing. I just, yeah, I just don't trust it. I don't know if that's what they're gonna do. I mean, from what they were saying. Maybe. We'll see. Not looking forward to it. Hopefully they just change their minds about it and just forget about it. But the next class I want them to touch is the Shaman, for sure, because they're going to try to deviate away from like the Druid, because I know they share a few abilities. It's supposed to be all spiritual, and so I want to see that in action. Bear says, 2 solution, they have to come up with 1, limit the moves and obtainable, which makes every other caster class, which just makes every other class. Make it 2, make it temporary, steal the moves for a short amount of time. Option 2 being a nightmare because people. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand. Like, I understand that they're trying to get like differentiate between classes, and that's great, but I think some classes are okay being like really close to each other. Shadow Knight and Necromancer are perfectly fine. You want to update the class, you want to make it a bit more thematic, you want to add some bells and whistles to it, put some more particle effects on certain spells, go ahead and do that. But like, I don't know about changing the entire motif of the class. So we'll see. I mean, the devs. This is what I like about the devs. The devs are like, hey, this is a vision for the game, and we're going to stick to it. We don't care about anybody else's opinion, and that's great. That's awesome. At least for like core aspects of the game that we want. I don't know about the class thing. At least certain ones. I think it is a mistake. Tybear says, I wonder if the devs hung up is the shared ability to spells, make new spells for a Shadow Knight differentiate them. I think I can see, like, I don't know if you were there for like the Nick like scandal, where Nick is one of the developers, also one of the co-owners of the company. He still is a co-owner. But one day he just kind of got removed from the dev team, and we don't really know why. And then they announced these class revamps, and then when we start looking into it, at least with the Shadow Knight, I'm like, okay, I can probably see why that caused some tension behind the scenes. like a little bit. So I don't know. I mean, it's fine having like little to no overlap. That's perfectly fine. I just think like if we're gonna be kind of making EverQuest 1.5, we should at least have like some of the old school nostalgia with it. So like, yeah, having certain classes that are closer to each other and that do overlap, I think is perfectly fine. I don't think every class should do that, and I think there should be some distinction. I mean, certainly from the shaman and the druid, right? I mean, you kind of need to have one with nature spells and one with like spiritual spells. I think that's perfectly fine. Vladimir says, all I've seen is the note on Discord. Friction is never good in early development by kicking out a dev. You know, he was... What makes his departure like so kind of like rubs people up really the wrong way is that he was very like involved in community. He was kind of like the de facto like community pointed content for the development team. Not that Sean is not inaccessible, like his streams are very much accessible. But you know, Nick was like completely charismatic, right? Like he was definitely a people person. But I don't. The thing that gives me hope about that is that, you know, while he was like either walked away from the development team or was removed, he's still an owner of the company, so he still believes in the game. So I mean, that's kind of, if we saw him like depart from the actual company ownership, we might have like a few questions. I would have a few more questions. Well, I also think it did kind of impact their development schedule, and so like this October 1st deadline, is probably an optimistic one, but they've been fairly optimistic about all of their deadlines. So I think like open beta was supposed to be at like the end of January. They didn't make that, and they pushed it back to June 1st, and then they weren't going to make June 1st, so they pushed it back to October 1st. And so part of me is thinking, and this is just me, I don't think there's anything like really wrong going behind the scenes. I think we have to realize, like, you know, hey, we're dealing with like an all volunteer team, and it's really hard to motivate people to do things without money. And so when we start getting around to October 1st, like if something goes wrong, well, the only real solution is to push it back again, and that's only going to be until like what, January, because then you got the holidays coming up, right? No one wants to work during the holidays. So that October deadline for like open betas has me worried just a tad bit. Because I do want them to make it, not because I'm impatient for like getting the game out there. I mean, I want them to make money. I want them to be rewarded for their efforts. Just like I went out of my way to buy Dwarf Fortress. I didn't have to. The game has been worked on for like 20 years, and they finally released it. It makes sense. I wouldn't work with money. Unfortunately, they built around my... I have built a life around my ability to earn. Yeah, I mean, like, I think most of the devs have a job, a regular job. So they're not sacrificing a whole lot. I mean, they are just sacrificing their time. So you can imagine, I'm just thinking about like the logistics behind it. It seems overly optimistic to think that we're gonna be hitting October 1st, at least in my opinion. I think it's entirely possible to see open beta sometime next year. Mushroom people. Still red. Did you kill this guy? No. Before I forget, I need to apply that buff. Toddy Bear says one of my favorite tropes is mice and is or mushroom folk. No idea why, just a fantasy element that has always reached out to me. That's definitely interesting. I don't want that. I've never had that affinity towards the mushroom folk. I don't typically. What is that? Like in Final? Is there some in Final Fantasy too? I'd imagine there are. I just think they're super derpy to look at. I mean, I'm perfectly fine with them. It's interesting for sure. You know, for me, I've always been like a Khajiit person. I think it's just the way they talk. The only other mushroom folk I can think of is Super Mario World. I can't think of anywhere else I would see them. I like the idea of a system being disrupted, an element of nature rebuilding, and being sentenced to fight back. Okay, yeah. I've seen that in like science fiction, like horror science fiction, in some like novels. Yeah, Dark Souls. Okay, because I was like thinking of like I've seen it before, I just don't remember. Yeah, so Dark Souls is definitely one of them I've seen. D&D, I haven't had a campaign that interacted with them yet. And Baldur's Gate, I didn't get that far into Baldur's Gate, I don't think. Or at least we didn't see them, because we played at Baldur's Gate with a group. So I think we kind of missed out on a couple things, because we just rushed through it. Although I played a lot more Elden Ring. My first introduction to Dark Souls was Dark Souls 2. Never played the original one. I should go back and play the original one. I know they have a remastered version. I don't know, I kind of like 2. I mean, I like the grittiness of 2. I don't remember if there were mushroom people in... oh, yeah, you know what? I do remember... God, was it... There were some YouTube clips of people, like, PvPing, and there were, like, these mushroom people in the forest. I do remember that. Never played Bloodborne. I didn't like the setting. I like that grim, dark fantasy type of setting. Playing a sword and board character. But those are typically like the hardest characters to play, are sword and board characters in that game. I beat Dark Souls 2 with mouse and keyboard. I will never play Dark Souls again with mouse and keyboard. Ever. I don't know why I tried that. I don't know why I stuck it with it so long, but I will never do it again. I guess I just wanted to be punished, I don't know. I don't know why I keep forgetting it. Burning Embers needs to go first. Got about 3 silver on us. Are we unarrested? Got about 6 minutes. You ever play Monster Humanity with other folks? I appreciate that. The invite key comes with a friend key. Yeah, so the friend key for me, I know I gotta talk to my wife about it because I want to make sure that she doesn't want to play. Because I asked her if she wants to play this game. She's like, well, is it boring? And I'm like, I don't know how to answer that. So I gotta make sure for sure she doesn't want to play, and she's just like being polite. And then I think one of my real life friends wants to take a look at the game, and so I'll ask him. I don't know, he's super busy, so if I just have like an extra key around, I might like raffle it off. So we'll see. I'll do that today. I'll check with those two today and see what happens. The only other person that I really had interaction with in this game is actually another streamer, Slayheim. Well, and Primus MMO. But yeah, Slayheim, he wanted to group up with me. We just haven't been able to do it because he's busy. And like, I'm on when he's not on, so you know how it is. Toddy Bear says, yeah, I'm planning on pulling in my dad. He used to play EQ back in the day. So did you play EverQuest back in the day, or did you just watch your dad? Because I know there's some fans of EverQuest who watch their parents play and like are interested in playing EverQuest. Okay, so I was 8 to 10 while I was playing. Sure, I wasn't well but informed, but I was just messing around. I mean, yeah, I started playing like around like 14 or 15. You're born in 91 when it launched, so it was out of my depth. Okay. Well, I was born in 87, so I mean, like I was familiar with online games like Team Fortress Classic. I think there was Neverwinter Nights. By the time I got into it was like 2001, maybe the end of 2001, beginning of like 2002. I was a freshman or sophomore in high school. It was my first MMO. I was like, and when I first played it, I was like, this is boring. And I was like, I don't know, I'm like, how are people like into this game? And then I eventually tried it and I was like, oh, because I started like killing mobs and then I leveled and I was like, oh, so it's kind of like Pokemon. You're kind of like your character is like a Pokemon. You just level it up. That was like the only reference I had at the time to it. And I guess I could have used... I don't know why I thought about that first, but I could have used Neverwinter Nights too because he did have like levels in that game. But the leveling system wasn't, it was just like different. And like on the screens here, I mean, you just had like one little window inside. You had these horrible 1999 graphics. Blocking or obstructing your view of the game. But I definitely miss EverQuest. I miss the heyday of EverQuest. And I guess part of it is just being like 14 or 15 and not having any responsibilities. And you're just out with your friends, or you're out with or you're going out and finding a group of people, or most of the time, and this is just my experience, is that like I played alone because I couldn't find a group. And that's typically why I stream. It's like, yeah, you know, you can, this is a group game and you should be in a group, but you don't have to be. And I want to show that you can actually solo with any class, because when I was a kid, like that's what I tried. I was like, I had nothing but time on my hands and I was able to solo with a class. And so when people say like, oh, certain classes can't solo in EverQuest, and I was like, well, that's not true. I mean, you can, you just gotta have a certain strategy to do it. Some are more effective than others, are more efficient at killing mobs, making it less than a hassle to do. But you can certainly level with every single character that you have. It is possible. Dottie Bear says, I remember playing Prison Tale, then RuneScape, then Final Fantasy XI, then I got into MMORPGs. Oh, okay. Yeah, man, you missed the golden age. You missed the golden age of MMOs. You missed PlanetSide. You missed Star Wars Galaxies. I mean, I guess RuneScape was... Again, I never got into RuneScape, and I don't know why. I didn't hear about RuneScape until... way later. I didn't even know it existed. But yeah, man, that was like before World of Warcraft. There was this like very, very precious time where EverQuest was like the king, and then people were trying something different and made a lot of headways. Like PlanetSide was just this massively online persistent war that everybody like fought into, and you had vehicles, and you had bridge battles, and you had like, you know, artillery coming down on you, and you're fighting with tanks, you're running convoys, you're trying to break through the blockade of certain bases. And then you had Star Wars Galaxies, and everyone was trying to figure out how to become a Jedi with their holocrons. But the grind in those games, man, was just mind-boggling. And so I did try WoW when it first came out, and I tried like a 2-week trial with it. And I was playing with it, and I was like, and I was playing EverQuest at the time too, and I was like, oh, this is just like EverQuest. Like, why would I go back? Why would I go to this game that has less content? And the graphics are on par with each other at the time. And so I was like, okay, well, I can just go and play EverQuest on my level 35 paladin and not have to grind up my paladin again. I don't want to do that. Little did I know. Okay, we don't have any rested buff us anymore. I gotta drop things off at the cook. Do I have wolf's blood? Let me take a look. Let me take a look. Do I have wolf? I do have. Anything else? No, I don't. Okay. I mean, RuneScape did also had its own classic renaissance that it's going through right now. I think more people play classic RuneScape than they actually play retail RuneScape. I'm really curious to see the numbers in WoW. I want to know if more people are playing classic WoW than they are the retail WoW. Yeah, WoW. Can't speak today. Although that's every day. But I will say, you know, like anybody who's, you know, was a kid and watching their parents play EverQuest and is like really interested in this game, I mean, yeah. It's good to see that we're getting new people into the game and not just like the OGs playing this. And they are trying to do their own thing. They're not trying to be an exact replica of EverQuest, but you know, there is a demand for that. Yeah. Hi, Chloe. So the only way you can get cooked wolf meat is by basically incinerating the wolf itself. Like I can't go to a fireplace or an oven and roast the wolf meat. Like it just doesn't work. But I can burn a wolf alive and like get the cooked wolf meat off of it. So little oddities in this game. Let's take a look at bat meat here. There's like hidden recipes in this game, hidden stuff you can do. Like that. Sell for more. I don't know why they hid that off the recipe menu. I really don't. I mean, I feel like... I mean, I think it's okay. Yeah, so it just doesn't cook. It's just like, it doesn't combine into anything. And all the other meats, you can cook them. But in order to get cooked wolf meat, you actually have to incinerate the actual alive wolf. Which I find kind of hilarious. And it's only a chance to drop. It's not like a 100% chance. That is a Toddy Bear says that is a mental way to get cooked meat. I mean, it's just for that mob and that drop, so it's not everyone. But I find that hilarious. And so keep in mind, I mean, you know, obviously this is in development, and they might not have everything buttoned down with the crafting. I know that I ran into some issues trying to sharpen a rusty spear, a rusty long spear, the other day, and like the crafting recipe, or the quote-unquote hidden recipe for every other one wasn't working on this, and I tried several different ways to actually get it to work, and it just wasn't working. I need to get a buff. That dude looks super dapper with his horse. What is he? Is he, he's wearing chainmail. What do you think he is? He's got a spellbook though. That's the only thing that's throwing me off. I'm trying to figure out what he actually is. So it says, getting a working call, we'll be lurking for a bit. Alright, pal. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate the conversation, for sure. It's Chloe. I have 2 cats. And I got one demanding attention from me right now. I wonder if they've been fed. I'll check with my wife, see if she fed them this morning before she left. There's Chloe. Anyways, well, cats can get super affectionate on their own without wanting food. Trying to figure out what this guy is. I mean, he's got a horse. What is he? Is he a shaman? Do shamans get dual wield? I mean, that would make sense. He's got 2 daggers, right? Which is piercing. Shamans can wield piercing weapons. And wear chainmail. So, that might be it. That might be a shaman. Alright, anyways. We got stuff to kill. But yeah, I mean, playing a druid makes me want to play the shaman. The only reason why I'm like hesitant to play the shaman is they haven't revamped it yet, and I don't. I'm like excited to see the change for it. Like, it's not a bad class on its own right now. Right, apparently I'm not allowed to. You can get off a spell, apparently. Alright. Wait, no, I want to... My 2 button not working? It is one of those games where you can just zone out and just relax. to me, this game is far more enjoyable playing by myself than it is streaming it. But even then, it's a good game. Not perfect, but it's good. I'm definitely interested in playing Shaman. I want to hop on my Spellblade though later. I don't think I'm gonna do it on stream. Okay, so this is a white con, and for those of you who are interested in this game and haven't played it yet, or haven't played an EverQuest game, con means consideration. So you press C on your keyboard, see this little text right here, flavor text. A black wolf views you as a threat. Battle would be quite risky. So it's like a 50-50 chance you could die. Oh, minor heal. Minor heal work. Yeah, there we go. It's probably an out of combat. Well, lesser heal. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's why the druid is like robust. Like I can just heal through his damage. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage itself, but I mean, the leveling process feels very enjoyable, and I will keep repeating that. Let's take a look at our buff here. Alright, we got 31 minutes remaining. Take this off. So we're not doing much. We're just grinding out our levels. That's really about it. Trying to get to level 8. I said I was going to do that with the shaman, and then I got distracted by the shadow drop of the archer. Got through the archer. Decided to play wizard after that. And now I'm on druid, so I'm just kind of checking out all the new touch-ups on the classes. We will go back to the shaman though. But what again, like I don't play druid as a main. I'm not like a healing class main, so it is enjoyable. It doesn't feel like a slog to like get through this level or to level 5. It does not feel tedious. It feels very, very smooth and rewarding. And I'm in the season of spring. Where I get a substantial mana regen boost and 10% to my damage. Damage spells are 10% more effective. Whatever that means, if we get 10% more damage, I'm not really sure. So yeah, it feels good. It feels, I mean, again, especially for like a fighter main, this class feels pretty neat. I like it. Wizard, guys, I'm sorry, I couldn't stick with it. Something's going on with it. I don't know what it is. I want to like it, but and so it's kind of nice again, like comparing and contrasting with the wizard. Like I'm running out of mana fairly regularly with the wizard, but here it seems like if I'm in the correct season, like I can just keep leveling and enjoying the game. There's the cooked wolf meat that I was talking about. And it only has a chance to drop. Getting rather unlucky with those interrupts. Anyways, guys, how are you doing today? Alright. I'm not sure where they got that sound file from. Sounds a little sus. Not complaining, just an observation. So I think it's a little bit funny. Yeah, so the mana management on the Druid is fantastic. The only time you're gonna run into an issue with mana or mana, if you are feeling fancy, is when you're in the other seasons. So like winter and summer is what I notice when you have like a really the mana drain is noticeable. You have very little downtime in the spring and autumn seasons. Well, if anybody's a Druid main out there, you tell me how I'm doing. I mean, technically I could kite if I really wanted to, but this is a blue con, so I mean I can handle it. He pissed off his buddy. They used to cast some type of dot, and I'm not sure what it was called, but I think they took that away from the Dryads. So that was kind of annoying to deal with. One of the hardest things that I have to do during each and every stream is figure out what to talk about, because I'm just like kind of like talking in the void. I mean, that's what I signed up for, right? I'm going to work on my public speaking. But I try to make it relevant to the game, because you guys are not going to want to hear about like the mind-body problem, like what consciousness is, as much as I would like to talk about it. what consciousness could actually potentially be. Alright, let's try to kite this guy. I don't want to take too much damage. Oh. Okay, well, we needed to go back anyways. I'm running out of a rested buff. Let's go. Come on. Coming at me like the T-1000. By the skin of my teeth. Alright, let's head back. We're gonna vendor some of our items that we picked up. Oh yeah, I need to go to the bank and do some conversion. Man, it's been 2 hours already. We almost leveled. Yeah, the character feels, I mean, I can't express this enough. I mean, the character feels really good. And the experience of leveling a druid feels really nice. Now, if anybody out there has played the druid before the revamp, you gotta talk to me and tell me like what's different. Or did somebody leave somebody behind? Hopefully I didn't. But this character, we're definitely getting to level 8. We're definitely getting the shaman to level 8. I gotta check what my shaman is. I think we can do that really quick and see what it's at. Because there's something about the shaman, man, I really want to like. And I really want that spirit wolf. Every time I see a shaman, it's like I want to play a shaman. Especially like if I see like a high level shaman, I'm like, I want to play that. I want to be that guy. Go to the shaman place and we'll turn the bone chips in. Take a look at our inventory. Yep, that's weird. Alright, time to go to the bank. Okay, 8 silver. Not bad. It's a decent chunk of change at this level. Alright, well, we're gonna camp out. I'm just gonna take a real quick look at at the shaman, see where I have him at. And then we're gonna log back into the druid. Sorry, I'm just like really curious. Alright. Let's see, Leon? Oh, level 5. Okay, so... level. Well, about to be the same level. Wait for our rested buff to fill up and then we'll head on out. There's one of our shaman friends, right next to us. I think. I'm not sure. I see a hammer. I'm like, oh, okay, that's probably a shaman. But druids can wear blunt weapons, or use blunt weapons. So you see leather. Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, we can go out. Forgot to turn these two things in. Doesn't really matter right now. I think we could buy some leather armor. I mean, I could make it, or I attempt to. Can we cast wood skin on somebody else? Yeah, I can. Do my druidic duties. Buff people as much as I can. You know, why not? You get wood skin too. I'm gonna give this guy wood skin. Oh wait, no, that's not wood skin. And this guy, why not? Help out where you can. Alright, try this. There we go. I was just not getting lucky with those interrupts. There we go. Almost. But not quite. Almost, 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 almost. Hey, ding! Awesome. Alright. Go back to town. Let's see what time it is. It's 1:30. I'm probably gonna wrap up the stream early today, guys. I won't be on tomorrow. We'll be celebrating my wife's birthday. Yeah, 1:30, so she's gonna get off in like half an hour, so I want to be ready. Make sure everything is in order in the house. Now, I could... Now, hopefully I'll be back later today. We'll see. But we're gonna wrap everything up before we before I log off. Sell these. Meaning we're just gonna sell our vendor our items, buy a few things, and then say adios. Or ciao, if you're feeling fancy. I like his mace. Ooh, he's even got a good name, Mace of Malice. It's a named item. That's awesome. Get everything ready on this character before we have to go out. I do like the fact that we have to kind of prepare before we like go back out in the wild to grind. And that's like with every character, you always kind of have to prepare. You gotta make sure like all your bases are covered. Like, okay, did I sharpen my weapon before I went out? Did I work on my potion making? Is my dexterity buff still on? Did I remember to bring my lumberjack axe? Did I get the pickaxe? All those little sorts of things like add up to moment gameplay with any character. I would say that it is definitely a universal quality of this game. is that you have to be prepared. I could break this down into, well, I don't actually have a gathering kit with me on this character. I think the money's more important right now. We're gonna save that because that is useful for tanning. If you guys didn't know, this is going to be how tanning works, right? So for the longest time, I didn't think tanning was in the game, again, like, because sometimes they don't have listed recipes on the panel. Show you how it works. So there's like these hidden mechanics here. So you had, like, if you were to, like, okay, well, I just trained in tanning, you got your one skill point in there. Let's see if we have one skill point. We have at least 3. So come over here. All right, what do? There's nothing you got. There's no recipe. Usually in most games you would have like a recipe list. So let's take a look at our inventory. So we have a low quality wolf pelt, and I think that's what it is. It's like low quality wolf pelts or pelts from animals. And then you just hit craft. Doesn't tell you how to do that. I had someone chat with me and tell me that's what they did. I was like, I didn't even know it was working. I thought it was out of commission. There's a certain sandbox element I do love about this game where I can make my own decisions. Dope. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on there. And this is another, let's see. Did I get any other leather on this guy? I did. Okay, so I got tattered leather rawhide shoulder pads and tattered rawhide bracers. So that's 2 AC and 2 AC. If I come over to the tanning rack, click on the tanning rack. Again, it's not going to show it, but what if I put this in here and then I put one of my leather scraps in there? I hit craft. Alright, so instead of a tattered shoulder pad, I now get a patched rawhide shoulder pad, which is now 3 AC instead of 2. And you don't have to worry about it just eating your item. It's a trivial task of repairing your equipment. Alright, so now I have patched rawhide bracers and shoulder pads. Pretty cool. I like it when games do kind of do that, although it's a bit frustrating to figure out. Because there's no, I didn't know that they changed that, and there's no. I looked through like the documentation and I couldn't find it anywhere. I'm like, what the hell? And so I had somebody in my chat, I think it was earlier this week, that mentioned that, and I was like, oh, you can do that? So I was trying it with like snake skins. No, it's got to be a pelt. It's got to specifically be a pelt. And so if I have these sharpening stones, right? If I put one in there, I have a rusty axe. Check it out. I get a tarnished axe. Rusty dagger, same thing. Tarnished dagger. And I think they sell more than the rusty weapons. Come over here to the used armor dealer, or weapons dealer. And we can sell that. Yeah, I think this is like 12. We got tarnished axe. We'll save all these because we'll turn them into tarnished weapons. Oh, sweet, thank you, kind stranger. The man just gave me Speed of the Wild. Let's take a look at the spell list at level 8 because I'm curious on what I'm going to actually get here shortly. Since we're at level 5. Got 3 more levels to go. Alright, so this would be, I guess, the 3rd tier, Blazing Sun, Cure Poison, Mantle of Summer, Mantle of Winter, Prickly Barrier. That one's kind of cool. Speed of the Wild, I'm really looking forward to that. Warmth of Summer, or Summer's Warmth. Twisting Roots, what is that? Okay, so it's kind of like Battlefield Controller, basically. If you got a mob incoming, you can use Twisting Roots to delay them. Winter's Chill. Very cool. Okay, and then at level 12 we get Cure Disease. Jackal form is at level 12. Wolf form is at... What's the difference between Jackal and Wolf? Jesus. I guess it's a cosmetic difference. So wait, does Jackal's form or Wolf form also stack off of Speed of the Wild? That would be weird. I mean, that would be super cool. Oh. Toddy Bear says, experimentation is fun. There will be a wiki for those who want to complain about it. Jackal has a higher starting speed. Wolf scales better with a high cap. Okay, so... Yeah, you've been doing some reading on this character. Like, again, this is a blind playthrough for me, man. You gotta excuse some, like, ignorance on my part. I mean, but, like, at the same time, I mean, it's probably a good idea for, like, an outsider to take a look at the class and be like, oh, okay, is this how this actually works? And get kind of, like, an unbiased opinion about it. Because, again, I typically don't play these classes. Yeah. I mean, I could tell that excitement, right? It's kind of like getting that, like, Nintendo 64 game with the strategy guide inside the little case. Reading it end to end. It's okay. I was excited. I was ecstatic when I got the beta invite. I was like, yes! Alright, what else do we gotta do? Alright, we'll probably next stream we're gonna do the class quest because I should be able to do some of it, at least at level 5. We really just gotta sell a few items. Alright, unfortunately it's gonna have to be a short stream today, guys. That's what happens when I don't get enough sleep. Hopefully I'll be on later. I'll try to be on later. I don't know if I will be, but we will be back on the Druid if I am. Go ahead and do this. So thank you guys for coming in. Toddy Bear, thanks for coming in again, chatting, making sure the stream is not that as boring for everybody. It is kind of hard to speak into the void sometimes. Alright, pal. So yeah, see you later too. But hey, thanks for everybody else who just kind of lurked in the channel. Appreciate you too, and allowing me to work on my public speaking abilities. Anyways, guys, I will see you out there.